My name is Nikki Leonard, and I'm one of the full-time faculty members of our education department at Johnston Community College. We have revised our activity plan formats, and this video is to introduce you to some of the adjustments and just to provide you with a walkthrough in terms of the expectations for these formats. Please note that depending on the class that you are taking, there might be specific instructions for the activity plan that you're creating. So there might be slight changes or adjustments based on what the learning outcomes are for that course. And as always, please create new plans. Do not reuse another activity plan from a different class. All of the activity plans that you are creating should be fresh and hopefully useful to you when you are in your own classroom. So the first part of both the child-directed and the teacher-directed format is just plain and simple. The name and the date, your activity name, what age group, the study topic and theme, so what the class is learning about, as well as the type of activity. So if it's a discovery, child-directed, then you're going to be choosing from the list provided. And if it's a teacher-directed or circle activity, then you will be choosing from a separate list. Next, you're going to create your notes for observation. This section is what you observed or what you might observe in an early childhood classroom that relates to the children's interests and or developmental needs. Okay. The next part for both plans is the justification. Based on your understanding of child development, what is developmentally appropriate for this age child, and what are you expecting for the child to learn from this activity? How will this activity meet their needs? So you really want to be specific here and connect what they're doing in the activity to what is appropriate for their age level and their developmental level and the goal that you have set. The NC Foundation's developmental domain and goal is the next part. And then the assessment. What will the children do to demonstrate that they have met the objective or goal listed for that activity? So what are you expecting to see? How will you determine that they have met or not met that goal? Materials and area setup. Please be really detailed and specific. You need to really elaborate in these sections. We want to be able to create a clear vision of this activity and how it's going to be presented. For the next part, for your child-directed activity, you're going to have your introduction and your interaction sections. You need to provide specific details, provide examples of dialogue for what you're going to do to engage the children in the activity, how you're going to introduce them and get them excited about it, what you might say, what questions you might ask, as well as what you will do and say while they are doing this activity. Remember, with a discovery activity, this is child-directed, not teacher-directed. So you are going to provide us with the rule of three. 3 open-ended statements or questions, 3 statements or questions to guide them towards the stated goals or objectives, and 3 encouraging statements that are authentic to what the children are doing. You won't be hovering over them and saying all of these things. These are just examples of what you might say as you engaged with the children while they were doing that activity. For the teacher-directed activity plans, you're going to be doing your introduction, your main procedure, and your conclusion. And again, you want specific examples of what you're saying and doing with the children, how you're engaging them in the activity, things you might say, even what they might say to you. Be specific, be thorough, and again, follow that rule of 3. In terms of differentiation, adaptations, and accommodations for various developmental levels, you want to think about how you would intentionally scaffold that learning so that all children can participate in the activity. Be sure to be really specific and really think about how you might make it more challenging for children that are able to easily achieve the goal and participate in the activity, and what you might do to scaffold that learning for a child that is struggling with that activity. Then finally, you're going to list any resources that you used for this particular activity. I hope that this video is helpful to you as you learn this new format. As always, contact your instructor with any questions or clarification that you need, and the more detail, the better. We want to make sure that if a teacher was coming in to substitute for you for the day, that they would be able to implement that activity with no problem with the children. Everything is clearly written and explained. Have a great week. Bye, everyone.